What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with TechDaily, and in this video, we are checking out Apple's new MagSafe battery pack. Now, I normally wouldn't do a dedicated video on a single accessory like this, but given the price of this thing to start, as well as the potential use cases and some of its limitations, I figured it might be worthwhile to go over everything this little battery pack can and cannot do, and let you know if it's really worth that $99 cost. There's actually a lot to go over here, so I won't waste any more time. I'll just quickly show you what comes inside the package here first. And really, it's just the battery pack itself. That's pretty much it. There's a stack of paperwork there as well, but no stickers, no USB cable, nothing else included with this. Now, the battery pack itself, I think looks vaguely familiar to Apple's own silicone battery case for like the old iPhone 7 and the iPhone 11s. This is obviously just the battery part alone, but it's no longer a soft rubber silicone material. This time around, Apple went with a hard plastic that's very smooth to the touch, but sturdy and high quality. You lose the rubbery grip, but all in all, I don't hate the material choice. It's totally fine. On the bottom of the battery pack, you'll find a lightning port that serves a few different functions actually. There's also an LED indicator light next to it to let you know when the battery pack is charging. And on the inside, there's obviously Apple's little MagSafe setup there with the magnetic circle, which matches all the other MagSafe accessories we've had before, like the cases and the wallet attachment. And this battery pack attaches to the back of the iPhone 12s, just like all the other MagSafe accessories. Now, there's a couple things worth noting here already. First off, size-wise, this is currently attached to an iPhone 12 Pro. I'll show you what it looks like on the Pro Max and the Mini in just a second, but it covers like 2/3 of the back of this phone, and it sticks out a little bit. It's thicker than the iPhone itself. The phone is about 7.4 millimeters thick. The battery pack is close to 11 millimeters thick. So it'll more than double the overall thickness of what's in your hand. And it no doubt adds a bit of weight to everything as well. The iPhone alone is 189 grams. The battery pack is about 115 grams. In the hand though, it's not so inconvenient or intrusive. I actually kind of like that it's sort of something to grab onto almost. And I can still reach all the corners and edges of the phone no problem. So while yes, it maybe is a little thicker and a little bulkier than even I expected, it doesn't really hinder the use of my phone at all. As far as how strong the magnetic attachment is, there's sort of two sides to this. Towards the top half, the connection is really strong. You can try and shake the phone from the battery pack all you want, and it's not coming off. So that's great. But if you grab the battery pack from the bottom and shake, you'll actually be able to shake it loose and disconnect it with one hand. So just be mindful of where you're grabbing the battery pack, because that sort of does affect the connection and whether or not you'll pull it off easily. One thing I also noticed is that because the bottom half of the battery pack doesn't have the strongest magnetic connection, you can sort of twist and rotate the battery pack around, and it doesn't always stay perfectly straight when you pop it on. Now, fortunately, it doesn't really matter if it's a little crooked or even very crooked actually. It still charges just fine. It's the circular part of the MagSafe connector that's the actual charger part, and it generally doesn't matter what orientation it's in, but it's just maybe a little annoying that the battery can sit kind of askew on the back of the phone. So right now at least, the MagSafe battery pack comes in one color, just white, and if you're curious about how it might look on your phone, here's some different color and size combinations. It definitely would have been fun to see some color matching options for sure, like all the other MagSafe accessories, but this is what we have right now at least. And as far as the sizing on the other iPhones, with the iPhone 12 mini, the battery pack sits basically even with the sides and bottom of the phone. It takes up close to 3/4 of the back as well, almost all the way to the camera module. So comparatively, I think adding this battery pack to that phone really adds some bulk to the whole setup. With something like the 12 Pro Max, it doesn't take up nearly as much room and almost looks kind of small on the back by comparison. I think for me personally, I like the battery pack best on the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro devices. It seems like the right overall balance of size to me anyway. Okay, now let's get into charging and all the different use cases here for this thing. Now, obviously, the main purpose of the MagSafe battery pack is to act as a wireless external battery. When it's attached to the iPhone, the battery pack will automatically wirelessly charge up the phone when you're on the go. And I think most people get that, and that's probably the main way you would use this accessory. As far as the charging speeds, Unfortunately, when it's wirelessly juicing up your iPhone like this, it maxes out at just 5 watts, which is kind of slow. You'll get close to a 10% charge about every 15 minutes. And as far as the capacity, this battery pack seems to have about 1460 milliamps. Compare that with the various iPhone battery sizes, and you can kind of see how much you can charge up each phone with the battery pack alone. You won't go from 0 to 100% on any iPhone with this. Also, the MagSafe charger will stop charging your iPhone when it reaches 90% battery anyway, to preserve the battery health and stop it from overheating, regardless of how much juice the battery pack has left. So that's also something to consider as well. With all that info, you're looking at killing this battery pack after maybe an hour and a half attached to the phone, and like I said, you won't go from 0 to 100 anyway. So all in all, as a portable wireless battery pack alone, this little guy will be helpful, but obviously has some limitations. Now, like I mentioned earlier, it also has a lightning port at the bottom, and this serves a few purposes. For one, this is how you charge the battery pack itself. You need to physically plug the battery pack in to juice it back up. And if you use Apple's 20-watt adapter to do so, along with a lightning to USB-C cable, you can get the battery pack charged up in under an hour. Now, if you want, you can also attach your iPhone to the battery pack while it's plugged in, and it basically serves as a makeshift MagSafe charger. With this setup, the battery pack, the lightning cable, and Apple's 20-watt USB-C plug, you can charge up your iPhone and the battery pack all at the same time. And this charging setup offers faster 15-watt charging speeds versus just 5 watts with the battery pack alone. The iPhone will charge up first to about 80%, and then it'll do a little bit of both. And honestly, this I think is the most useful sort of setup. You can ditch the standalone MagSafe charger, and so long as you have all 3 pieces here, the battery pack, the USB-C cable, and the 20-watt charger, you have a lot more charging options now when you're on the go. If you plug in your iPhone to the cable while the battery pack is connected, you can also charge up the iPhone and battery pack at the same time. The iPhone gets charged first, and then the iPhone will sort of reverse wirelessly charge the battery pack. So any combination of cable, iPhone, and battery pack will get everything charged up one way or another. Also, you can use the battery pack to wirelessly charge other things too, like the AirPods Pro, for example, or other wireless earbuds with a wireless charging case, like the Pixel Buds or Samsung's Galaxy Buds. My AirPods case light died on me, but you can see that it really is charging them. So again, one more sort of added benefit to this, which is kind of nice. A couple other things to note. You can't seem to charge the battery case with the actual MagSafe charger. Magnets don't align up, they don't play friendly. You also can't charge the iPhone wirelessly when the battery pack is attached. So for example, the MagSafe charger won't charge anything with this setup. It's too thick to get through. You can, however, use the battery pack with a case on your phone. The battery pack will charge through cases, so that's great. And depending on what version of iOS you're on, you'll of course see the battery pack in the battery widgets on your device in some form or another. iOS 14.7 has a whole battery pack charging animation which shows the capacity and a little icon and everything. The iOS 15 beta right now on my phone actually doesn't show it properly. It lists the battery pack as like a generic charger, but it still works, and when iOS 15 actually comes out later this year, I'm sure the proper icons and animations will show for the battery pack. Either way, it's very easy to see the percentage and status of the battery pack just like any other charger or connected accessory on the iPhone. So all in all, Apple's MagSafe battery pack is no doubt very expensive, but that's typical for an Apple accessory. And on the surface, I don't think it seems like the greatest accessory either. Charging at just 5-watt speeds wirelessly and not even having enough capacity to fill an iPhone 100% definitely limits this thing. So in that sense, I don't really think it would be worth it as a standalone battery pack. But if you consider the fact that it's kind of a MagSafe charger as well, and if you already have a cable and wall plug to use with it, I think that sort of doubles its potential use and almost makes it worth the money. Though if being a wireless battery pack is what you want this thing for most, there are other options out there that are better and more affordable. But what do you guys think about Apple's new MagSafe battery pack? Do you think it's worth it? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to know your thoughts, of course. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video though. Be sure to follow TechDaily on Twitter and subscribe to the TechDaily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.